this matter as of urgent national attention. I recall it was a fortnight ago we made this request. Thank you, sir, for granting us audience. In our letter, we did say we'll bring to your notice our observations, our worries, and our fears, as well as our position on this vexing issue. First, observations. We observed that Christian religious studies, which over the years has been an independent, standalone subject of its own, was now listed as part of an omnibus combo subject called Religion and National Values, with others such as Islamic Religious Studies, Social Studies, Civic Education, and Security Education. So we now have one subject that subsumes 5 different former independent subjects. By this lumping together, in-depth study of the subject is lost to necessity of accommodation of other subjects. For instance, in the previous curriculum, social studies had about 26 modules. But in this new curriculum, on the altar of experience, they have reduced it to about 10 or 11. So the curriculum is being watered down. Further, we observe that the content of the curriculum and the textbooks approved by the Nigeria Education Research and Development Council, NERDC, deliberately denigrated the person and founder of the Christian faith, the Lord Jesus Christ. The Islamic Religious Studies section of the same curriculum document denied the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, the cardinal truth of the Christian faith. This we consider as obnoxious, offensive, and provocative. If this was limited to a private religious belief, it is understandable. But making such statement in a national document for all faiths is indeed obnoxious. We also observe that the omnibus subject called Religion and National Value is compulsory in national examination such as GSS 3 and all the basic education. In a situation where there is no subject teacher for any of the 2 religious studies, the student will compulsorily do the available, not minding whether it conflicts with his or her faith. So this is one of the major challenges we have. Finally, we observe that many schools, particularly in the northern part of the country, deliberately refuse to employ Christian religious teachers, thereby denying the Christian students the right to choose Christian religious studies, and indirectly forcing them to do Islamic religious studies. This we consider an infringement on their fundamental human right. Now our fears. We consider this curriculum a means of promoting one particular religion above other religions in a multi-religious nation. We're also worried that there's a deliberate act of indoctrination of Nigerian children through the curriculum. This for us is the most subtle and most dangerous way of executing a holy war. We are worried by the confusion this curriculum will create in the mind of the minors. For instance, in one of the books, at home, a Christian child is taught that the salvation of his or her soul is through the atoning death of Jesus Christ and his resurrection. Then in school, he or she is faced with the curriculum and textbook denying the death and resurrection. So that creates a very big conflict in the mind of a child that is just in his formative year. The worst is the portion in the curriculum that encourages the child to disobey the parents if they oppose his or our following Allah. When an educational program encourages rebellion in the house, what will be the implication in the society? Finally, Your Excellency, these are the positions of Nigerian Christians. Number 1, these are our prayers. That the curriculum as it concerns this omnibus subject, religion and national values, should be scrapped as a subject. In its place, there should be 3 distinct distinctive subjects, each standing on its own. They are: 1, Christian religious studies should stand on its own, Islamic religious studies should stand on its own, and social studies. 14,
here, which we are sworn to, is to always uphold the Constitution and ensure that the rights of all Nigerians are respected in line with the Constitution. But having said that, let me also appeal to all of us as leaders that we must continue to seek to find solutions to problems. Sometimes how difficult they might be, how disturbing they might be. My eagerness to receive you today is part of the fact to try and see what the issues are and ensure that we can find solutions. But I think at the same time as leaders, it's important that we always try to give a background to some of these issues. Anybody listening to your brief might jump to the conclusion that some of these policies were done, particularly with one desire not. But you remember in 2010, the former administration came up with reforms. How do we reduce the number of subjects at the basic education level, where there were about 20 subjects at that time, and subsequently reduced to 12. In the process of implementing that reform, we have this problem. Why I'm saying that is that, so we don't live here to believe that it was done to try and bring one study of one religion. Now, the reform clearly is not working. Clearly, there is a problem with the reform. But it is the reform that led us to where we are, not a discrimination that led us to where we are. And I think it's important because a lot of people are here listening. We have the media. Sometimes they're not the best people to report because they try and sell their papers. And what they will say tomorrow is not what the issues. And I think it's important that clearly the reform is not working. Because I'm sure, I don't hold for Jonathan administration, but I'm sure President Jonathan would not, when they were doing the reform, did not expect this. But clearly it's not working. So our responsibility is to look into that reform and make it work. But I think it's clear we live here not to think that it was done to try to bring one religion behind. But in practicality, what you are saying is that it has disadvantaged one religion against the other. And that is not the spirit of what it should be. And my commitment to you is that we would refer it to the Committee on Education to look at it. Look at the reform. Why isn't it working? And if it's not working, then some of your prayers definitely. But the principle that we will abide is that we must respect the Constitution. But it's important that we put that background so that people do not live here. It's because, as you know, we're in a very, very tense times in the country, and it just takes very little misinterpretation and I think that is important. I wanted to say that. I want to assure you that we will look at it. We will see whether there is value. Why can't we go back to what it was before? If there were reasons why we wanted to reduce it for administration, for that, but looking at what we are seeing now, maybe it's not working and we should look at it. But I want to assure you that this Senate, National Assembly, or even this government will not be part of any action like that will try and discriminate against any religion. And also when we talk about kidnapping as well, even just today, we're saying that the kidnapping on the Kanu, Abuja axis has gone so high up. And I think kidnapping is such a problem in the country today. I do not believe that kidnapping particularly is targeted towards one religion or not. Maybe I'm an optimist and I believe so much in this, but I believe yet again that what we need to do is solve that problem on the issue of trying to see how we can improve the security of the country by and large. But let me once again welcome you and reassure you that our committees will look into it and also with the advice of a lot of people, education stakeholders who can advise us how best can we be able to resolve these issues. And from my own experience in administration, and I always advise that sometimes the policy makers and those that implement policies are so different. And the conclusion we sometimes make is that when the people who implement mess it up, we sometimes think that it was the intention of the policy maker to make sure that's the final result. But in reality, it's not that. And I think as leaders, we need to be able to separate that, because there is no, I think it's fair if the policy implementators get it wrong, we can correct that. But I think where the danger is if the policy ab initio had a hidden agenda that is not, and that is where it's wrong. So, and I think we must all make sure that that does not happen. And I can assure you that we'll look into that.